Do you have any comment on the Senator Skelos?
I feel very badly for his family. I think I have known this man for 18 years. In my opinion, he's a good man. But we never know what people do when they leave Albany and involved with their activities in their district. But I feel badly for him and his family. Let me just leave it at that.
Do you think he could still be leader?
I have been outspoken on this. For anybody that gets indicted has to resign immediately. I've said that for Bruno. I've said that for Silva. When I say resign, I'm talking either a speaker or majority leader. Can't serve head of a conference if you're indicted. Just too big a clout.
So you're saying that Skelos should resign?
I've said it for other leaders. I'm saying the same thing. He should, as much as I like the man and I'm his friend, when you get indicted, you have to resign as majority leader in this case. Okay? That's how I feel about it.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, good people.
Senator Skelos? No?
He's that.
Comment on Senator Skelos? Should he stay?
It's too early to talk about it.
So, Senator Roebuck, what do you think of this Senator Skelos' situation? Should he stay? Should he leave?
I think we're going to do our job.
Referenced by implication in this latest complaint, and the list goes on and on. But unfortunately, we keep getting in a situation where the people who end up getting accused are the ones negotiating down the strongest ethics proposals into things that have no effect. How many times have we passed ethics reforms in the last several years? It's almost like an annual occurrence, and then followed very shortly thereafter by another indictment. So either we're going to get it, and those of us in the Democratic Conference are going to work hard to make sure that that we show that we are, or this will keep happening.
How do you see the rest of the session playing out? I mean, is it essentially over now, except for maybe straight renewal of rent regulations and 421A and things that have to be done?
I hope not. We have a lot of work we need to get done, and that's why many of us have asked for the leader to step down in the wake of these allegations, so that we can focus without distraction on the important work that needs to be done. We have housing laws, education laws that need addressing in the last month and a half before session ends, and we shouldn't be gaveling in and out of session as quickly as possible just so that certain people won't be seen on the floor of the Senate, which seems to be happening too often.
Is there any indication as to whether he's going to step down or not?
I don't know.
Does it make it even, Mike, sorry, but does it make it even more difficult for the senator to stay on as majority leader, given that he's accused of all these issues that range from, rent control, 421A, which is up for debate again in June?
The question itself is a strange one. Shouldn't it be hard enough, the fact that you've been accused of a series of serious and disturbing allegations, like regardless of what they are, specifically what subject matters they touch, a leader of the legislature is not going to be able to lead when facing or dealing with these kinds of significant allegations. In the Assembly, we saw that they took relatively swift action when they were faced with a similar situation. On the Senate side, all of the other conferences at various times have had to deal with problems, and they were dealt with swiftly. It seems that Senate Republicans want to talk about being inured. It seems like the Senate Republicans are inured to these allegations. They now have their entire leadership structure under indictment and continue to stick their heads in the sand as if nothing's going on.
Does this make it...
What can they do? What should they be doing right now?
What they should do is select new leadership to get us through the next month and a half, and then roll up their sleeves and get to work with us to enact some ethics changes that will actually make a difference.
Will it make it more difficult to get city rent regulations renewed even?
I think it's going to make it more difficult to get all of the work that we have to do over the next month and a half done. Rent included, and certainly to the extent that some of these subject matters are dealt with specifically in the complaint should make it that much more complicated. Yeah, I got to get back in anyway. So, all right, thank you.
I've beg your pardon?
Do you think Senator Skelos should stay or go?
Well, Senator Skelos believes he's innocent, and I believe him. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm supporting Senator Skelos.
And in terms of the precedent set in the other chamber with Shelley stepping down after he was indicted, how does that reflect on Dean attempting to stay as leader or not?
Well, I think it's strictly up to the conference what happens with that situation, and I think that's what happened over in the Assembly. I'm not a member there, but I understand that they requested that he step down.
Mm-hmm. So has anyone talked to you about them wanting to become leader?
No. I have said publicly that I support Senator Skelos, and I think he should stay as leader. And again, he has not been indicted. It's only a charge, and he believes he's innocent, and I believe him.
If he were to be indicted, would that change your opinion as to whether or not?
Not necessarily. As I think it was said, you could indict a ham sandwich. I think our chief judge once said that. So it depends on the charges. And I think it's, as I've seen them so far, they seem to be very slim. We already went through a travail, if you will, with Senator Bruno, who was proved to be innocent. And I think that I feel very sorry for the Skelos family and for Senator Skelos. I think he's a fine man, and I wish him well.
So do you think federal prosecutors have overstepped their authority? There's been suggestion that they're criminalizing what passes for routine politics in Albany.
Well, I won't go there. I don't know what they... I'm sure that they have authority to investigate all they want. But unfortunately, I do support Senator Skelos.
So if anyone is campaigning for his job, what would you think about that at this point?
I don't know that anybody is campaigning for his job. I haven't heard anybody, and I'm pretty senior here. And I know there's people that would like to be majority leader, but I think by and large there's still support for Senator Skelos.
Have you had discussions with Republican colleagues this morning about the arrest, about the complaint?
Not much. We just got here. Some of them I live here, but many of them are just coming in now. Okay, thank you very much.
What do you think should happen with Senator Skelos? Do you think he should stay? Sir? Sir?
I think that's something we're going to be discussing. This is a conference decision. I think that when it comes time to do it, I think the leader will make the right choice.
There's allegations that he altered your response to the State of the State.
That one is pretty funny because when you put together a speech of that magnitude, there's input coming back and forth from everybody, including myself. That particular discussion in the State of the State address was a conference-wide decision. We all wanted the settlement dollars to go for infrastructure improvements, roads and bridges, water and sewer. As a matter of fact, I don't know, I might have put it in there myself. I'm just not sure because there's give and take and things of that nature. I'll tell you what, if it hadn't been in there, I would have inserted it because there are things within my particular district that I've advocated for and sent letters on, bridge projects and water and sewer projects. So that's a bit of a red herring, and I don't understand why that is a particular issue. Because the conference as a whole was in favor of that.
Could the conference continue for the next 2 months under Senator Skelos?
We're going to continue for the next 2 months. Who it's under remains to be seen, and that's something that we're going to figure out this afternoon.
Has anyone talked to you about becoming leader?
No.
Rich,
There's no one campaigning at all that you know of?
Not for me.
Rich, there's folks back home that want to know what this means for all of us in Monroe and Ontario counties.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is that we continue to do the work here for Monroe and Ontario counties and for the entire state. I think every senator will tell you the exact same thing. We have work to do. We intend to do it. How we move forward from here is something we're going to discuss in just a couple of minutes. But I can assure you that we're going to do the work.
Were you surprised by the detail of the criminal complaint?
I was surprised by all of it. I'm surprised by the allegations. I'm surprised by everything. And like I say, I think it's a disappointing circumstance anytime any elected official is accused of any wrongdoing of any kind. But we're gonna move ahead. We've got good people in this conference. We know how to get work done, and we're going to do it.
Do you see any clear successors for Senator Skelos if he happens to vacate the position?
Not at this point, I don't.
Rich, you're new to Albany.
I sure am. How does it feel? Everything was fine till I got here. Right?
How does it feel to come during this period of kind of unrest and turmoil on both sides of the Capitol?
Well, how does it feel to come here to see all that? It's disappointing. It truly is. But these are allegations on both sides, and both of these gentlemen deserve due process. We need to see where this is going to go and how it's all going to play out. Allegations are not convictions by any stretch of the imagination. There are a lot of good people that are working very hard here, day in and day out, doing the people's work, and we'll continue to do that.
Senator, I'm sorry, I can't just
hey, Nick.
how you doing? Your reaction to being named as, I guess, Senator 1 in this indictment. Do you feel like you were betrayed by Senator Skelos at all for the way he edited that script?
No, that's a major speech, and there's a lot of input on speeches like that. Things get changed, things get put in, taken out, changed all the time, and their first draft, second drafts, third drafts. So that's a major thing to do. As it pertains to that particular line, I think there was a lot of discussion within the conference about making sure that a phrase like that got into that speech, because all of us, conference-wide, we all agreed that the settlement dollars should be used for infrastructure purposes, one-shot deals, roads and bridges, water and sewer. I advocated for that within my own district. I would have been disappointed if that line hadn't been in that speech. I might have tried to add it in myself. So that one was a little confusing to me. I don't know what that had to do necessarily with anything, because the entire conference wanted that there.
And you continue to support Senator Skelos staying on as majority leader?
I didn't say that. I say that's something we're going to conference about here in a couple of minutes.
What are your own
my colleagues and myself will discuss that, and we'll see where we go from here, and we want to hear from him as well.
What does he have to tell the conference at this point? What do you feel like he needs to get across to you and your colleagues?
We've got a lot of questions. We'll ask him at the appropriate time.
Would you want to run for re-election next year with Senator Skelos as majority leader?
I have every intention of running for re-election. That's just in my own district.
Being your leader, then?
I'm not going there.
What are your personal feelings on whether or not you should remain as leader after having, digested some of the details in the indictment and complaint?
I think that it'd be very difficult at this point. We've got work to do. We need to do it. We don't need distractions.
Without identifying any of your colleagues, do you get the sense that that's sort of the general feeling you're a new arrival, you, Senator Amador, many others who are new to the conference? I think the feelings might be different. I mean, certainly that was the case with Speaker